Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good day. This is your daily insight. So the post this morning was in regards to how over the years, so many people have walked into my office, and these are just my one-on-one clients that come see me, and they'd continuously have their heads hung low. Because one of the questions I'd ask them is, how did you hear of me? And on the intake form, how many times have you tried to lose weight? Have you gone through bariatric surgery, this, that, and the other? And I'd say 90% of the people that I work with, and that might be a conservative guess, but 90%, I'll go with that number, have tried multiple times. And one of the first things that I say to people like that come in and feel ashamed of their attempts is, first off, I'm proud of them for not giving up. You're here now. Yes, those other attempts might not have been successful, but it doesn't necessarily mean failure, okay? So a failed attempt is different than failure, right? It's just one attempt, like the meme that I put out on my stories the other day, in regards to Edison saying, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just learned 999 ways not to do it. And this is kind of where we're going with this is, as much as we love to blame ourselves for failing, as much as we love to blame the industry, but the issue is both. It's just maybe you weren't ready. Maybe you needed to go through those trials and tribulations in order to figure out what works for you, to be able to kind of sift through the bullshit that's out there and the bullshit that we tell ourselves. So that's kind of what this morning's message was about, is don't get discouraged. There's going to be weeks, there's going to be moments, even within the insight, that you're going to feel like you failed, like you're going to have a crappy weekend. You're going to walk away from a social event. You're like, oh, I really shit the bed on that. Stupid me, blah, blah, blah. But there's always something to learn from it. And if you keep the right perspective, you keep the right headspace, there's something that you'll take from that will prevent that from happening next time, or at least lessen the degree and severity of it. Okay. So you can't learn the lesson if you're feeling the guilt. Guilt is probably the biggest contributor to weight gain and poor health, is thinking that, I should have already have that. I should already know this. And again, countless times I hear this. So don't feel like you're alone. And that's why the insight, community is so important. That's why the group messages, that's why the educational private page on Facebook is so important, so that you're not alone. I would say at least half a dozen times a day, I hear either online or in person people saying, Neil, I should have this. I know what to eat. How come I can't do it? And the reason is because you haven't practiced enough. None of us knew how to walk when we were born. We sucked at it. We fell all over the place. But did we ever think we couldn't? Absolutely not. We just had to. And we didn't know that we couldn't, right? It wasn't put into our heads. And this whole social stigma attached to failure. And, God, guys, like, I'm on my second marriage. I've failed in businesses. I've failed in all kinds of things in my life, but it never stopped me. It hurt, but I learned from it. And every time I do it again, it got better. So now, like, the reason why I can be like I am today is because of all the failures that I've had before. And the whole point of insight and the whole point of our purpose, really, as a community, is to help prevent others from making the same mistakes, so that they can make different mistakes, better mistakes, right? They can fall forward. And that's the whole point of this. Me sharing my experiences and sharing my insight is to help you guys fall forward, so that you're making different mistakes, or maybe the same mistakes sometimes, but just not as hard. And you've got someone there with experience saying, yes, I've been there, I've done that. I got through it, you can too, right? Sharing in those experiences, as opposed to isolating ourselves and feeling guilty and hiding away somewhere and feeling ashamed. I've even brought it up to people who come in that are, morbidly obese or like just debilitated with their chronic issues when it comes to their health. And I look at the form and they're like, they've never tried to lose weight. They've never done anything. And, some of these people are well into their 40s and 50s, even 60s. And the condition that they're in didn't happen overnight. I'll actually, right to their face in the office, say, well, what took you so long? Like, why are you waiting until now in order to do this? And believe it or not, those people are very unsuccessful in the program for the most part because of the fact that other than, they're scared to death and they're willing to do absolutely anything and their doctors referred them to me or recommended, my services, those people have basically a knife to their throat. They tend to be quite compliant, but in regards to maintenance and keeping the weight off, they don't tend to do very well because they haven't gained the experience of it. And they all have the same song and dance. Oh, I feel fantastic. This is never coming back. I know what I need to do. Thanks a lot, Neil. Catch you later type thing. And then 2 years later, they come back and their tails are between their legs and their heads hung low. And they're like, Neil, I failed and blah, blah, blah. But really, I don't see it as that. I see it as, what? You're just you're just late to the party, right? You're going to try this and you're going to fail at this attempt multiple times before you nail it. Very few people, very few people get it right the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth time. Like it's crazy. But you do have the anomalies, and unfortunately, those are the people that we model ourselves after. It's like that one person that smokes a pack a day and lives until they're 96. Well, this person, meanwhile, that person might have lived until they were 96 and smoked a pack a day, but 150,000 people, that person's same height, weight, and age that smoked a pack a day, they all died because of smoking, but yet we identify the one, right? The outlier, and it's hilarious how the human mind works. So, we look at the people that lost weight successfully, that 0.3% of the population, and we're like, oh, we should have what they have. And we should, and we can, just not the way that they got it, right? We're not trust fund people. You know what I mean? We were born into this life with a certain level of health, and no different than being born into poverty or anything else. It's what we're born into. And it's up to us to navigate that environment, but we can't do it alone. We need support. And that's what inSight here is here to do, is to help you make sense of it all, help you navigate it. It's not going away. We need to take control of us, and just deal with it. We can't change the environment, right? So that's kind of where this message and what today's inSight was focused on is I want you to feel proud of your failures, right? Your failed attempts, because guys, you're here now. And, the only way you could truly fail is if you quit. And the people that are listening to this, the people that read the morning insights, the messages, I've got a lot of respect for you right off the hop. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're putting in the effort, the fact that you're communicating, you're sending in your reports, you're following the meal plans, you're doing your due diligence instead of just forking out some money and expecting that is enough. Like, and it would baffle you. It would make you want to pull your hair out, the amount of people that just because they sign up to a program and they pay for a service, they feel like that should be enough for them to get healthier without actually doing anything, right? Actually, doing what the service is recommending they do. It's ridiculous. And the amount of money that's wasted and time that's wasted. But I don't feel that within this community. And, it's nice and it feels good and helps me on my end as well, because again, our coach is invested into his team. And so I think that's about it for today. All right. Really proud with the weekend, happy and proud of the weekend results, especially in the summertime, guys. We had a beautiful weekend here in New Brunswick, and I hope you all in New Brunswick were able to get out and capitalize off that. Those of you that aren't, I hope you had good weather where you're at and were able to make some great memories. The tracking still continued to come in. I checked on most of it and caught up to it this morning. Really, really good behavior, guys. No outlandish, cheating, air quotes. I see a lot of respectful behavior and some memories being made, right? Now, again, over the weekend, weight loss is not a priority, all right? It's learning how to maintain the weight loss that you achieved during the weekday, and it's an absolute phenomenal, statistically, it's solid in regards to longevity and sticking to a routine, a plan, right? Whereas, going hard at it 7 days a week, it'll get you there quick. But again, it's like the dog chasing the car. You're not going to be able to sustain it. Like you're going to, grab a hold of that car and it's going to run you over. And I've seen it thousands of times. So taking the weekend, relaxing, enjoying yourself, eating for psychological wellness, and living for psychological wellness, what it does is it spurs you for the weekday. So now that we're looking down the barrel of another week, we're ready for it. We've had, our time doing stuff. For me, I was out on my Harley with a group of really close guys. It was amazing. Had some friends in from away over the weekend. Tracked my food, managed myself really, really well. And I'm ready to rock and roll this week and be very productive to earn my next week, right? My next weekend. So this is what we're, this is the schedule. This is the cadence that I would really love everybody to embrace. Okay. It's not going to get you it's not going to get you there any slower, contrary to popular belief. It only does if you gain weight over the weekend and then have to spend the weekday after that kind of repaying that debt back. All right. But if you're able to manage yourself over the week, and you'll see that, there might be some weight fluctuation regarding water retention because, dehydration, things like that. I know I don't drink a lot of water when I'm on my Harley because, again, we just don't stop a whole lot. But so there is some water fluctuation that way. But for the most part, it's pretty even keel. My metabolism has become very resistant to the weekend, very accepting of it. So I don't see big fluctuations, and neither will you guys eventually if maybe at this point already you've reached that point, that metabolic status. So anyway, not to get too long in the tooth here. We're already up to 12 minutes. I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate you checking in, taking the time for yourselves, and meal prepping, following the meal plan, asking for new meal plans when the month comes due. Which is coming up soon. So those of you, please message me directly if you require a new and updated meal plan. Tracking your food diligently like you're doing, letting me know how things are going. So not just, sending in your weight, but giving me kind of a sit rep, Neil, feel fantastic, or this is coming up, any suggestions, things like that. On a daily basis, you guys, honestly, success leaves clues. And if I can do this on a daily basis and I seem to be, having my ducks in a row, again, I'm no one extraordinary. I just grind and it's worth it. And it seems like a lot less of a grind these days because it becomes more habit. It's like getting up and showering in the morning and getting ready, it just becomes part of your daily routine. And then before you know it, it's just there. And what you have and that health and that physical status and that psychological wellness is yours to keep because you keep nurturing it every single day. You don't let it, you don't neglect it. And at the end of the day, what we neglect leaves us. So if you're not paying attention to it daily, then it has the nasty habit of falling off the to-do list and something else will take its place. And chances are it's not something that is uniquely yours. And it is something that can be replaceable, whereas your health, both physical and mental, it's not replaceable, all right? You are not replaceable. So have a great Monday, everybody. Work hard this week, all right? Stay focused. Remember your goals and stay in communication with me. Daily check-ins. And if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out. Follow the content that's going to be posted intermittently to the educational group, right? The Facebook educational group. And